Have you ever found yourself saying, I'm great at what I do. I just feel like I'm the best kept secret. If I could just get them to work with me, then they would know that I can solve their problem. If I could just get them to purchase my offer or get inside my membership or grab that one-on-one consult with me, they would know that I am great at what I do and I can help them solve their problem. And chances are you've thought about that, or you said that before. You feel like you're the best kept secret. If they could just work with you, then they would know. You're great at what you do, but you might not be great at how to talk about what you do. And if you can master your messaging and incorporate a movement, you can achieve any revenue goal that you set your mind to. Because with your movement and your Holy Spirit inspired idea, your success is inevitable. But before we get into today's episode, I want to make sure that you have saved your seat at the Call to Business 5-day live event. This is the roadmap for Holy Spirit-led women who are ready to finally launch their business by God's design, one that is profitable, impactful, and scalable. Launch it without being a slave to social media and without compromising your faith and values. During our 5 days together, you're going to have mindset shifts, aha moments. You're going to learn how to make sure that you're in alignment with your kingdom assignment, how to build and create a business without being a slave to social media, how to fill your email list fast and have a sold-out founding member program, utilizing my smart lead gen method, and how to simplify your business model through my Power of One framework. So get your seat saved at thecalltobusinessevent.com. It is happening September 9th through the 13th. And if for some reason you're listening to this episode after the fact, still go to the link in the show notes because these events happen periodically throughout the year. So the link is in the show notes, or it's www.thecalledtobusinessevent.com. Welcome to the Kingdom Revolution podcast, where we are redefining faith and online business to empower you, the Christian woman, to find your voice, clarify your calling so that you can create, grow, and scale your online business by God's design without sacrificing your faith or values. You know that you've been called to business and you want to do it God's way, not the world's way. You have that inner desire to change your mindset, change your family's legacy, and take your passions, knowledge, life experiences, or even that hobby that you love and create a profitable online business, bringing a heavenly solution to an earthly problem. Maybe you have too many ideas. You're not even quite sure where to start, or you're just looking for that next step. Maybe you've been struggling for a few months, even years, duct taping it all together with worldly tactics and strategies that just leave you confused, overwhelmed, and questioning your calling. And you find yourself asking, did I even hear you right, Lord? If that's you, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm your host, Kristen Duranci. I'm a wife, mom, ex-9-to-5er, and daughter of the King, who is using her voice and her online business to fight against the evil agenda going on in the world today. I believe your business is your battlefield. It's how you get to show up to use your voice and kingdom wealth to fight against the injustice that God has placed on your heart. I believe God is calling women back into position, to a kingdom revolution, to the battlefield to find their voice, to stand firm for biblical truth, to be the change they want to see in this world. My battlefield? Restoring the family unit the way God intended and bringing mamas home so that they can be the one raising their warriors for the kingdom, making a living from their own passions and desires. To inspire, encourage, and equip kingdom women in business to be kingdom currency converters, taking the wealth of this world and converting it into God's kingdom economy. So join me each week as I dive into honest conversations about my journey, tactical tips, spiritual and mindset strategies, along with the step-by-step plan to empower you to take that step of faith, to partner with God, and to create, build, and scale your online business by His design. Because it's both strategic and spiritual, we have to have the right mindset, the right heart posture, and the right strategy to run a business by God's design. So if you're ready to say yes to all of this, you're not afraid to rock that status quo, to be part of a kingdom revolution, to stand up for what you are passionate about and believe in, then armor up with Ephesians 6 and put on the full armor of God, because you are a warrior for the kingdom and He is going to use you and your online business to do some pretty amazing things here on this side of heaven. Have you ever said to yourself, gosh, I feel like I'm the best kept secret. I know I'm good at what I do. If they would just work with me. I felt that way. I've been there. And I thought I needed to produce more content and show up more on social media and just be present everywhere in order to find my people. But that wasn't the case. The problem was that I needed to master my messaging. I needed to create a message that was powerful, inspiring, and congruent to where I wanted to take my ideal client. So if you can master your messaging and incorporate a movement, you can achieve any revenue goal. Now, I know you've probably heard about messaging. Everyone talks about messaging. We know that it needs to be dialed in. But when you add into that mixture your movement, what heaven is doing in and through you, plus that ripple effect of that eternal impact that's going to be taking place because you are actually helping the people you're called to serve, boom, that's when the fire just lights up, right? That movement is what inspires your people to know that you are the one that can help them. They know that you are the one that they want helping them because they want to lock arms with that movement. And we talk about that inside the Business by God's Design Academy. We're going to talk about a little bit about that at the Call to Business Live event next week as well. But we really focus on what that looks like inside the Smart Lead Gen method, that you are going to be creating your movement-based marketing message around. So once I started to implement that, it took off. And here's why it matters, because I was good at what I did, but people only knew I was good if they worked with me. And that was very few and far between. And that could be you too. You're good at what you do. You are an expert at what you do. But you might not be getting the clients that you want, or you might not be filling out your group coaching program like you want, or maybe you haven't even been able to build your email list fast enough with the right people in order to launch that next program, membership, offer, or service. You can be so good at what you do, but if you don't know how to talk about it, if you don't know how to fire your people up and rally them around that movement so they can see value in your solution, they're not going to buy. So if that's you, don't worry. There's nothing wrong with you. There's so much noise out there in the online space. There's so many different people saying to do different things. And I get it. I was on that struggle bus for a long time. And I know, dear amazing woman of God, that you are good at what you do because God's calling you to business. God's calling you to do it. God's calling you to extract your God-given genius zone. So when you can master your messaging and incorporate a movement around it, that's when things are going to start to change. And that really just catapulted me to that next level when I got my messaging dialed in and I created a movement around what I was doing, bringing mamas home to restore that family unit. That was what the difference in what shifted, and also incorporating the Smart Lead Gen method in order to grow my email list fast. So I took my movement-based marketing message and I incorporated a Smart Lead Gen strategy, collaborations, leveraging other people's audiences. And that is what catapulted me from $27 in the first 2.5 years of my business, within 15 months, having approximately $20,000 in my pocket. That is what shifted, was creating a message and a movement. Because your impactful yes offer, your solution to someone's problem, is simply impactful and irresistible messaging put in front of the right person around the problem that you solve. So let me repeat that. Impactful yes offer, meaning your offer is simply impactful and irresistible messaging around the problem that you solve put in front of that right person. So who is the right person? The person you're called to serve who values solving the problem. Your person is on different stages of the customer journey, and that's okay. The person who values your solution is looking for that solution and has the means to purchase that solution is your level 10 client, your ideal client or your dream client or whatever you want to call that person. They are on different stages of a customer journey, and that's okay. You are going to be creating and crafting a message in such a way where you are speaking to that person that already knows that they have a problem, they're looking for a solution, and they actively have the means to pay for that solution. So here are some signs that your audience may not quite see your offer as impactful and irresistible yet, or maybe here's some signs where you haven't even been able to really grow your email list yet. And we're going to look at the symptoms because chances are it's just that your messaging is off, but we have to also put that messaging in front of the right people, which we're going to get into in a later part of this episode. But in order for you to understand if your messaging is off, we need to look at the symptoms. Because if you go to a doctor because you're sick, the doctor is going to look at your symptoms to diagnose the problem, right? Maybe you have a sore throat and it's eventually maybe laryngitis or whatever, but they're going to ask you what the symptoms are. Do you have a fever? Do you have a sore throat? Do your ears hurt? So we need to look at the symptoms of what's going on. So one sign that your messaging is off and you don't have a impactful and irresistible marketing-based message is that maybe you have great content out there and you're putting a whole bunch of content out. You're doing the thing, but no one's biting or no one's opting into your lead magnet or the sales just aren't there. And you're like, oh my goodness. If you just knew I'm so good, I can help you, but they don't know because the messaging is off. Or you keep attracting leads who can't afford to work with you or aren't serious about solving your problem or solving their problem. And I used to call them freebie seekers, but here's a mindset shift. There's going to be freebie seekers because there's at different stages of their journey. There's nothing wrong with freebie seekers. It's just that they're not ready to purchase. So your message is attracting them. You have to switch up your message and talk to the converted. Talk to those who already know that they have a problem. They're actively looking for a solution. The difference between those in the beginning stages of their business who are actively looking for a solution, they're going to be freebie seekers and opting in and trying to find a solution to the problem. They're going to probably do it themselves for a long period of time. They just haven't struggled long enough to see value in your solution, and that is okay. You are going to be talking and tweaking your message in such a way that you are going to be talking to the converted and attracting those that actually know they have a problem. They're looking for a solution. They know you have the solution to their problem. They want you helping them because your core values, your movement, your message all aligns with theirs. And they have the means to pay to get that problem solved, to invest. Okay? So either you're putting your message in front of the wrong people, or you can't communicate the value of your solution in a valuable enough way where they see that return on investment, or you're just not getting leads at all. You're showing up and doing all the things, posting on social media, feeling like a slave on social media. Maybe you have a podcast or a YouTube, but nothing. You get a lot of vague objections. People say yes when? People say yes when the sum of their belief is greater than the sum of their fears. People buy when the sum of their beliefs or their faith is greater than the sum of their fears or their lack of belief or lack of faith. Okay? Another way to think about it is the sum of our solution, our offer, is greater than the sum of their fears. If we want an impactful yes offer to be impactful and irresistible where they say yes, it has to be greater than the sum of all of their fears and the sum of their lack of beliefs. All of their objections, all of the risks going on in their head, all of the reasons they might say no. So we have to make sure that our movement-based marketing message is put in front of our offer, and that is going to strategically break down fears, shift beliefs, shift mindsets, instill belief, instill that faith that they can get results from our solution. So what are those beliefs that need to be shifted? Remember, you and your message and your movement are the most important part of your offer. An offer is not just what's behind the paid wall. It's just not your beta founding member program. It's not behind that paid wall. It's everything in front of that. It's everything from cold to close. It's everything from as soon as you put your messaging out there in a virtual event, a summit, a bundle, or a post, or a podcast guesting, or whatever it is. As soon as they opt in your email list, it's everything from cold to close when they're inside your paid container. So that means that you and your message and that movement are the most important part. They're not going to end up in your paid container if they don't understand what you're saying, if they don't like what you're saying, if they don't resonate with what you're saying. It's just not about the price tag in your container. We think that there's something wrong with our offer. We need to move our price up or down or do this XYZ thing. And it's just the messaging and the message that we put in front of it. Now, I don't think there's a lot of people talking about this. And I think that's a huge mistake because everything starts with your message, your movement-based marketing message. Remember, an impactful yes offer, your offer that's an impactful yes, I want this, is simply impactful movement-based marketing message put in front of your offer and in front of the right person. So who is that right person? It's the person God has called you to serve. I firmly believe that. Each and every single one of us has that person. And it's up to us to infuse what the Lord wants to do in us and through us and in our messaging and in our movement to help shift those beliefs and attract our person. Your level 10 client, that top 10 person, the one that you're talking to, remember, you're speaking to the converted. You're not trying to convince someone they need to lose weight. You're talking to someone that already knows that they want to lose the weight. These beliefs have to align. That you have to believe that you are the person who can help them. They need to believe you're the person that can help them. They need to believe that your process, that B to Y, can deliver that transformation. If you don't know what the B to Y is, I talk about that at the Call to Business event, but we dive into that in the Business by God's Design Academy. So if you think of A to Z, A is where your person's at in pain. Z is where they've gotten that transformation. They're at A. They're looking for a solution. They know they want their problem solved. There's a gap. On the other side of that gap is your solution and them solving the problem. What fills that gap or gives them the bridge to get from A to Z is you. You are the B to Y. It's your unique differentiator, your process that delivers the transformation they desire. They have to believe that your B to Y can get them that transformation that they want. Okay? The third thing that they need to believe is that they are capable of achieving that transformation, that they themselves are capable of solving the problem. Because remember, they already have a story they're telling themselves. They've already tried to solve this problem. They have a story of why they can't solve the problem. You need to flip that story around and change their belief and mindset so they understand that they're capable of achieving that transformation. And then the fourth and most crucial belief that they need to know is that you are the person that they want helping them get that transformation. And that's one that I threw in. The first three, you may have heard that before. But the fourth one is your person wants to believe that you are the person that they want helping them. They need to know that they want you helping them. Not just that you can, because I don't want to just work with anyone that can help me solve my problem. I want to work with someone who understands my goals, my values, my mission. I want them to also have a kingdom mindset. I want them to understand kingdom terminology. I have worked with someone that I said they need to be in alignment with their kingdom assignment. And she's, what does that even mean? I'm like, oh boy. Okay, this is not the right coach for me, right? That is what I mean, that they want to work with you. Whether you serve the secular world or not, they have to believe that they want you helping them. Even if you are the most capable person of helping them, they need to know that they want you and believe that they want you helping them. And all of that is done through your movement-based marketing message. It's all about that. So how do you inspire those beliefs in them? How do you get them to check off and believe those 4 things? It's in your movement-based marketing message, which incorporates your brand, your core values, your mission, your identity, which are core values, which speaks to the identity of your ideal client and that eternal return on investment and the impact that the Lord is doing in you and through you. You infuse your movement-based marketing message into your business and watch God move mountains, because it's just not about you and how you can help someone. It's about that eternal impact and that movement you're creating. Who you put your movement-based marketing message in front of has everything to do with how well it sells or how well you're growing your email list. So let's talk about growing your email list. Once you have your message dialed in, that's not even that. You have to put your message out there in order to get feedback, in order to get it dialed in. And I think that too many times we're waiting to get it dialed in before we put it out there, but it doesn't work that way. You have to put it out there in order to get the feedback that you want. And there's a podcast episode on that, of putting it out there in order to get the feedback. You need to do that. I'll try to link it up in the show notes. Otherwise, search it or look through the 2024 podcast recordings, because in order to get the feedback, in order to understand that your messaging is landing and that your ideal clients understand what you're saying and where you're taking them, you have to put the thing or do the thing and put it out there. And what helped me significantly was showing up and speaking at virtual events and sharing my message. So let's get into that. How do we put our work in front of the right people? Because remember, who you put your work in front of, who you put your marketing message in front of, has everything to do with how well and how fast you're going to grow your email list and who is going to purchase your offer. And I call that like your messaging ecosystem. It's where you show up and you're speaking your soul's true message. You're talking about how you help people. You're talking about your processes. You're talking about your B2Y framework. You're talking about how you are creating this movement and this eternal impact. All of your messaging needs to be congruent in your messaging ecosystem. It's just an environment of where you show up, whether it's podcasts, YouTube, virtual events. In your message ecosystem, you need to learn to only speak to that level 10 client and hold space only for them. Remember, you're only talking to the converted. You're not trying to convince them to lose weight. The other people are going to follow along. They're going to be there. They're going to join your email list. They're just not where they're ready to buy yet. And that's okay. That's where your nurturing comes in, through your podcasting, your email list. So your message ecosystem includes, or your message ecosystem, think of it like as an environment that houses your movement-based marketing message. And that is what you put in front of your webinar, your live launch, which is in front of your offer. That goes first. This is where your message and your movement is. This is where your content is that you're putting out into the world, whatever that looks like. It looks different for everyone. So what do you need to do in order to get in front of the people that are your ideal client, your level 10 person that brings them closer to your offer? How do you fill your email list with your movement-based marketing message? And that is through the smart lead gen method, where you are leveraging other people's audiences without being a slave to social media, because social media is a tool that we get to use to nurture. It's not a business plan. It's not a business growth plan, and it's not an email growth plan. Collaboration lead gen strategies are what I teach inside the Business by God's Design Academy. It allows you to grow your email list fast with the right people who want what you have to offer. So by the time you merge into your launch strategy and open doors to your founding member program or your next offer or next program, you have an email list full of high quality leads that turn into buyers. And utilizing a movement-based marketing message along with the smart lead gen strategies that I teach inside the Business by God's Design Academy positions you strong in the marketplace and positions you in such a way that people, your people, find you and want to work with you instead of you striving in your own strength, constantly looking for your people. They find you just by you using your movement-based marketing message and the smart lead gen strategies. You get to show up and be who God created you to be, and He brings in your people that you are called to serve. And then throw in the mix your God-given genius zone, your unique differentiator and signature framework, and incorporate that in your movement-based marketing method. That is where you can create massive movement and build your business by God's design. One in which positions you strong in the marketplace, creates a movement and eternal impact, creates kingdom wealth. And I think all of those are important, but number one leaves no room for imposter syndrome because you are in your God-given genius zone and in alignment with your calling. So I pray that this blessed you today. If it did, share it with a business bestie and make sure that you join us at the Call to Business live event that starts September 9th. The link is in the show notes to save your seat. Have an amazing, blessed day. That's it for today, friends. Real quick before you go, if this podcast has blessed you in some way, the number one way that you can thank me is to leave a written review over on Apple Podcasts. The second thing you can do is take a screenshot of this episode or that review and tag me over on social media in your stories at Kristen Duranci. And then I will share you in my stories and give you a shout out. This not only blesses me, but you are creating a ripple effect by getting this message into the hands of others that might need to hear it. And know that there's only one you. Someone is out there waiting to hear from you. They're waiting for your message, your story, and your solution to their problem. You are the expert they're waiting to hear from. I want you to know this, feel this, and most importantly, be this. Never underestimate the impact and power that you have been given through the Holy Spirit. Be blessed, friend, and I'll see you on the next episode.